So today we are going to have a review of GPS, the General Problem Solving Skills, CPS, Creative Problem Solving Skills. Then we're going to proceed to decision making, then permutation and combination, as well as linear programming. Let's start with some definitions. The first one is a process of moving from the current position to the emerging or uncertain future to meet the objectives. So the answer here is company change or organizational change. Number two is a course of action where choices are made from a set of alternatives or options. So this is about decision making. Number three, it is a type or category of problem that has a clear starting or and ending point. So this is well-defined problem. Okay, if I'm going to reverse the question, it is a type or category of problem that has a vague or ambiguous starting and or ending point. That is ill-defined problem. That means the starting and the ending point are unclear. Number four, this is similar to number two. Number two is the shortcut actually definition of decision making. Number four is the complete definition of decision making. It is a process of making choices. By identifying a decision, we gather information and assess alternative resolutions or possible options. Five is a process to solve problems and generate many ideas by exploring many possible solutions. This is about divergent thinking. The opposite of this is convergent thinking, where we solve problems and focus on specific solutions. Number six is a process to generate many ideas possible, especially during the beginning stages of the problem, or a project where all contributions are valid. So these are the keywords here. All contributions are valid. We are not judgmental. We are not assessing or judging the ideas here. We just keep on listing all the ideas in a group setting, especially. Number seven, the answer is permutation, collection of objects where order is important. Order matters. If I'm going to reverse the statement, if I'm going to say a group of objects where order does not matter, that is a combination. Okay, anyway, permutation is actually a combination, special type of combination. We call this as an ordered combination. So when we're talking about a permutation, actually, it is also a combination, but a special one because we care about the order. We are concerned about the position. Number eight, this is about creativity, the process to generate new and useful ideas. And when we implement these ideas to improve the way we do things, to develop new products, new processes, new services, and new businesses, we're actually innovating. So that is innovation, implementation of newly created ideas to solve problems. Number 10, this is about linear programming, the process of solving systems of linear inequalities to find the optimal solutions using an objective function. When I say optimal solutions here, we are either finding the maximum or the minimum. Okay, so that's the meaning when you talk about linear programming. We either maximize or minimize. When you talk about cost, for example, usually we try to get the minimum cost, expenses, for example. But when you talk about sales, profits, we're talking about maximizing our objective function. So that is for the first part. Let's proceed to the second part. The first question here talks about expected monetary value, or EMV. If you would win $50 if you pull the blue from a box which contains 10 white, 50 blue, and 40 green balls, what is the expected monetary value? And write the implications. So the first step is to note down the formula. The formula is the summation of the product of these two. P of an event, that means the probability, multiplied by the monetary value of that event, or the MV. So in short, it's just the summation of P of E times the MV, or the monetary value. Okay, so the monetary value in this example is $50, 50 USD, as mentioned here, is positive because you would win. Okay, so the money is coming to your pocket. And the total, that is the number of sample points actually in a sample space, is 10 plus 50 plus 40, which is equal to 100. Okay, then we get the P of an event, which talks about getting a blue ball from a box. So that is P of B here. That is actually P of blue, which is equal to 50 over 100. Okay, and our expected monetary value using the formula, because we have only one event here that is getting a blue. Of course, if we have two or more events, we are going to add every product. That means you have to multiply the P of E and the MV and add, okay, based on the given events. All right, so our expected monetary value here is actually $25. And this is the meaning of this, the implications. There are two implications actually when you talk about expected monetary value. The first implication is, what is the average amount you're going to get if you're going to repeat this activity, this game or this bet, for a large number of times? So if you repeated this activity or bet for a large number of times, you are $25 better off per bet on average. So we need to add these words here. So on average, you're going to get $25 per game. That is the first implication. If you're going to repeat this activity a large number of times. Additionally, the second implication is the price of the ticket, how much you're supposed to pay per game or per activity. So the fair price should be $25, so close to this amount somehow. Okay, so these are the implications of our EMV. It's very easy to get the value. We just have to multiply the P of E and the MV, or the monetary value. Let's have another example here. Okay, so this is the second example. A coffee shop runs a promotion where customers randomly receive a scratch card after buying a drink. And it's obtained or discovered that 10% of the cards win $20, 30% of the cards win $5, and 60% of the cards win nothing. And each scratch card costs $4. So the question is, are you going to join? Are you going to participate? Are you going to buy or receive this particular scratch card, for example, positively? Okay, let's see. So you know the formula of EMV. This is the sigma of P of an event times the monetary value. Here we have three events. The first event is this, where the probability is 10%. Here we have the second event, where the probability is 30% and the loss is 60%, a total of 100%. So using this formula, we are going to use the summation. So we multiply the probability and the monetary value. The first P of E here is 10%, okay, times $20 plus, because we have the sigma here. Okay, that is our first P of E and the first MV. Our P of E here is 10%, and our monetary value or MV is 20, and we have 30% as the second P of E times $5 plus 60% times 0. This is nothing. Okay, so if you're going to solve this, the answer here is 3.5 actually. So 3.5, but there is a cost, okay, per scratch card. So that is minus $4. Answer is negative 0.5. So that is our expected monetary value. Okay, because this is the cost of the card, so we have to subtract here minus, as you can see. So as you can see, our expected monetary value is negative. So on average, a customer loses 50 cents per scratch card. This means the promotion is not a good financial decision for the customer, even though some people may win prizes. Of course, randomly people are winning. But in the long run, if you keep on repeating this, for example, a large number of times, most likely you're going to lose, and that is negative 0.5. So in dollars, it's like 50 cents. In Omani reals, it's like 500 paisa, loss every time. So assuming you're going to do it 1,000 times, so most likely you're going to lose 500 Omani reals because it's negative 0.5 as our EMV. Okay, so let's proceed to the next. Here we're going to find the number of combinations without repetition from this set. So we have G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, X, Y. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is combination without repetition. The formula is n factorial over n minus r factorial, and that is r factorial outside. So our n is 10. That's the total number of elements here. And our r is equal to 4 because each combination should have 4 elements, as mentioned here. So we choose 4 every time. An example of this is GHMN. Okay, there are 4 elements here, or it could be MNXY. But the order is not important because it is combination. So when you say GHMN, it is equal to GMNH because order is not important. So using the formula, we have 10 factorial over 4 factorial times 6 factorial, that is n minus r factorial. 10 minus 4 is 6. And using your calculator, you're going to get 210 combinations all in all. So this is the formula. We have n factorial over r factorial times the quantity of n minus r factorial. So please memorize the formula. Okay, so let's proceed to the next. Okay, here the keyword is PIN, or personal identification number. This is the meaning of PIN. Other words are lock, passwords, ID numbers, ATM PIN, your bank account number, your phone number, all of these use this formula. This is permutation with repetition because you're allowed to repeat the elements. Your password, for example, at Majan could be MA01, okay, 82, for example, 564. So repetition might happen because it might be MA0018264, for example, where 0 is repeated. That's why we call this as permutation with repetition. All right, so here you're going to form a 6-digit PIN, and we're going to obtain the elements from here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 elements here. Our N is 8, our R is 6, because you're going to form a 6-digit PIN. So using the formula, we have 8 raised to the power of 6. That is 262144 permutations all in all. Okay, so let's proceed to the next. Here, you're going to create a tree diagram, or we call this as decision tree, using this table. And we're going to calculate the expected monetary value. So some students are confused here actually how to start. It's very simple. Don't be confused even if the rows and the columns are switched. Okay, our rows here, we have Ali Business, and we have Brace Incorporated, and we have here the probability. You should not be confused. Look at the options or find the options. Okay, or we call this as our alternatives. The options are after the square or the box. Okay, so you have to draw the box and then the options. So here we have Ali Business, and we have Bracy Incorporated. So very simple. Don't be confused. Find the options or the alternatives, and put these options after the square or after the box. Alternatively, you can also look at the probabilities. As you can see here, our probabilities are 60%, 30%, and 10%. You cannot put this one after the box. If you're going to do it like this, for example, then you write here case 1, case 2, case 3, then everything will be wrong because your starting point is wrong. You are not supposed to put the probabilities after the square or after the box. It should be after the circles. Should be after here. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So we need to start with a square or a box or rectangle, and then we put our options. We have Ali Business, and we have Bracy Incorporated, and then that is followed by the probabilities after the circles. So we have 3 probabilities here, case 1, case 2, and case 3. So case 1 is 60%. We can write 0.6 in decimal. Case 2 is 30%, or that is 0.30 or 0.3. And the last one is case 3, which is 10% or 0.1. And these will all be copied here below. It should be the same. All right, so we have case 1 here, case 2, and case 3, all the same. And then we write the values from the table. Follow the table accordingly. Ali Business, we have 80K, 50K, and 20K. K means 1,000. So the first one is 80,000, followed by 50,000 and 20,000. Here we have 170,000, negative 15,000, and we have 20,000. Then we calculate the EMV of each option. So these three are for the first option, Ali business. So 0.6 times 80. So you multiply this. Actually, we are using this formula. Okay. Our P of E there is 0.6 and the MV is 80K plus, because we have sigma here, we have 50 times 0.3 or 0.3 times 50 plus 0.1 times 20K. So the answer is 65K. So you put it here. And the second one, we have 0.6 times 170 plus 0.3 times negative 15. We're multiplying these values plus 0.1 times 20. The answer is 99.5K. And we put it here. And we have to select the best option, which is higher, 99.5K. So our decision is choose option Brace Incorporated because it has the maximum expected monetary value. You can say go for Brace Incorporated because it has a higher EMV. Okay, let's have another example here. In this example, we have three options. Here we have only two options. We have Ali Business and Brace Incorporated. So don't be confused again. Look at the options or alternatives that will follow your square or your rectangle or your box. In this case, we have three options, first, second, and third. So as you can see here, I have three lines. That's for the first, second, and third. And that's after the square. And then we have the probabilities. We have growing 65% and declining 35%. Okay, so we have only two lines after the circle because we have only two probabilities, 65% and 35%, which is equal to 100% always. Okay, so growing, declining, we just copy and paste. For growing, it's 65% or 0.65. Declining is 0.35, and the same here. All right, so just copy and paste. And look at the table properly. The first one, we have 75K and 23K. So here we have 75K and 23K. For the second one, we have 80K and negative 20K or negative 20,000, and 95K and negative 10K for the third. And then we calculate. For the first, we have 0.65 times 75K plus 0.35 times 23K, that is 56.8K. For the second, we have 45K. And for the third, we multiply again and add. That's 58.25K. Here, multiply, and add. So the best one is the third option because it has the maximum or the highest expected monetary value. You have to compare the values, 56.8, 45, and 58.25 thousand. Okay, so let's now have the next one. You're going to form different words. Find a number of different words that can be formed using the letters of this word, with or without meaning. So it means we are just going to rearrange the letters. Now, there is an element or a letter being duplicated, that is D, as you can see here. So it's going to reduce the number of permutation. Okay, so our total number of frequency, that's 6. So our n is equal to 6 factorial. So the formula is n factorial over n1 factorial times n2 factorial until nk factorial. So it depends on how many are repeated. In this case, only one element is repeated. That means it has a frequency more than one. We're looking at the frequency, it means the number of times it occurs. Okay, so we have only n1, that is for D, which is equal to 2. So we have 2 factorials. So 6 factorial divided by 2 factorial, that is equal to 360 permutations in your calculator. Okay, so I guess this one is very, very simple. Let's try another example here. The word is success. So as you can see, S is repeated 3 times and C 2 times. So there are 2 letters having more than one frequency. So using the formula, okay, that is going to be 7 factorial, that is our n factorial, 3 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. That is 7 factorial. And 3 factorial here is for S, because S is repeated 3 times, times 2 factorial because of C equal to 2. So it depends on how many elements are repeated. So the answer is 420. Okay, so please remember this formula. Memorize this formula, it's very simple. It's n factorial over the elements being duplicated. You need to find the frequencies of these elements. Okay, so let's proceed to the next. Here we have 6 students from A1 to F1. How many ways can they be seated in a row? So seated in a row, it means we are rearranging our students. So this is about permutation. The first one, no restrictions. And we have 6 students, so we are just rearranging them. Our n is equal to 6 because you have 6 students. Our r is also equal to 6 because every time we are just rearranging them. Okay, it could be A1, A2, A3, or it could be based on the given A1, B1. This is A1, B1, C1, D1, E1, and F1. So it could be this arrangement, or we can shuffle them. So if the n and r are equal, the formula becomes n factorial only. The original formula is n factorial over n minus r factorial. This is permutation without repetition. Without repetition because these students are unique. There is only one A1, only one B1. And permutation because we are arranging the students or rearranging the students. So we care about the order or the position of the students. So the formula is n factorial over the quantity of n minus r factorial. Okay, so since n and r are equal, the answer for A is just n factorial. Okay, so that is just n factorial. The 6 factorial equals 720. Of course, you can use the formula. This will become 6 factorial over 6 minus 6 factorial. Becomes 6 factorial over 0 factorial. And 0 factorial is 1. So it will come back here. 6 factorial, which is equal to 720. Second one, A1 and B1 sit beside each other. So A1 and B1 becomes one group. Okay, then we have C1, D1, E1, and F1. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So our n here becomes 5 factorial, not 6 factorial, because A1 and B1 become one group. But we need to know how many times they can sit beside each other. A1 and B1 can sit beside each other 2 factorials. Okay, so 2 times 1, 2 ways. It could be A1, B1, or B1, A1. So we have to multiply 5 factorial and 2 factorial. That is equal to 240. Okay. For the last one is the opposite of B. A1 and B1 sit beside each other. Let us see is A1 and B1 must not sit beside each other. So this is complementation rule. Right, so using complementation rule, we have the whole, that means without restrictions. Okay, minus, so this is not, with the whole minus the opposite. So not A1, B1 is equal to the whole minus A1, B1. So the answer here is 720 minus 240, which is equal to 480. This is using complementation rule. Okay, so the whole is 720, that is without resections, minus the opposite of not A1, B1, which is already here in letter B, 240. Let's have this example here. We have 8 students, A, B, C, D, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. In how many ways can they be seated in a row? First one, the same here, no restrictions, so we have 8 factorial, which is 40,320. Here we have 6, because you have 6 students. Here we have 8 students. Here, A, B, and C sit beside each other. So A, B, C, one group. Then we have B, E, F, G, and H. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And how many ways can these 3 sit beside each other? So how many ways can A, B, and C sit beside each other? That is 3 factorial. So we have 6 factorial. That is this group and D, E, F, G, H. 6 times 3 factorial here because of A, B, C. There are 3 students there. So 3 factorial, that is 6. 6 ways they can sit beside each other. So the total is 4,320. The last one is the opposite of letter B. A, B, and C must not sit beside each other. So the whole, which is 40,320, minus the opposite, answer is 36,000. Okay, so I guess this problem is very clear now. Let's proceed to the next. Here you're going to find the number of combinations with repetition if 3 coins are selected. So when we talk about combination of coins, this is an example of combination with repetition. Why combination with repetition? Because one type of a coin can be repeated. So for example, if you have 50 paisa, for example, 50 paisa can be repeated. Okay? In your purse, for example, or in your wallet, where you put your coins, coins can be repeated and we don't care about the order. So the formula is given. We have the quantity of r plus n minus 1 factorial over r factorial outside times the quantity of n minus 1 factorial. So here our n is 6. We have 6 types of coins, C1 to C6, and our r is equal to 3. 3 coins are chosen or selected. So using the formula, we have 3 plus 6 minus 1 factorial over 3 factorial times the quantity of 6 minus 1 factorial, that is, of course, 56. Okay, so just plug in the values, you get the answer automatically. Okay, now let's have the 6 steps of problem solving. This one is fixed. Okay, the red ones: identify the problem, understand the problem, list possible solutions, select the best solution, implement the solution, the do stage, and evaluate the result. Okay, or you can mention evaluation stage. So for example, the problem is how to improve math skills. Okay, this is the problem. Or I might say how to improve your communication skills. It's similar to this. Step 1 is identify the problem. So what is the problem here? The problem is you have to assume, that the student is struggling with math skills. Okay, you can also take this as your problem. Okay, so this may include difficulty understanding concepts, making frequent mistakes, low confidence in maths, or poor performance in mathematics, exam or tests and assignments or homeworks. So this is the problem. So you have to assume that you are facing the problem and you are solving the problem. And what is your goal? Okay, you can include the goal here in the beginning, or you can include a goal after understanding the problem. It is fine. Okay, so the goal can be in step 1 or in the second step, understanding the problem. So we need to look at possible reasons for weak mathematical skills. For example, lack of practice, weak foundation in basic concepts. So there is weak foundation, or maybe anxiety or fear towards mathematics, or ineffective study methods. So this could be the root causes or the reasons why the student is facing this particular problem. So what is your goal? To improve mathematical skills by strengthening understanding of concepts, increasing accuracy and speed in problem solving, and building confidence in maths so that the student can perform better in class and exams. So you have to assume that you are solving the problem and you have to set your goal based on the reasons identified here. Step 3 is the possible solutions. Okay, so practicing maths problem daily, reviewing basic maths concepts and formulas, or watching educational maths videos, or using learning apps, asking help from teachers, tutors, or classmates, studying in a quiet, distraction-free environment, solving previous exam papers and sample questions. So this could be, some possible ways to improve mathematical skills. So this is not limited to 6 only. You can have more even. Okay, so the step 4 is to evaluate these several possible ways to improve math skills and see which ones are fitting to your situation. Okay, so here, select the best option is the 4th. The best solution is a combination of regular practice, revising basics, and seeking help when needed. So this is 1, 2, and 4 combined together. Okay. But as I mentioned, it depends on you, it depends on your situation. Okay, and mention the reason this approach addresses both understanding and application of math concepts, making learning more effective. So you need to mention the criteria, the reason why you are selecting this set of options. Okay, usually we combine the options, okay, or maybe we select only one, but usually it should be a combination of one or more options, depending on the situation of the person solving the problem. Number 5 is solving the problem. This is the do stage, or you can mention implementation stage, applying the solution. So based on this selected option, okay, create a daily study schedule that includes at least 30 to 60 minutes of math practice. Okay, start with basic concepts and gradually move to harder topics. Practice different types of problems regularly. Ask questions in class or get help from a tutor when concepts are not clear. Use online resources, videos, YouTube, for example, or apps for extra support. So this is a very good plan for you to solve the problem. And evaluating the results, okay, after the solution here, check if maths test scores and homework accuracy have improved. Notice increased confidence while solving math problems, and identify remaining weak areas and adjust the study plan if needed. Okay, if the results are positive, then continue the strategy. If not, try other methods or traditional ones or additional ones, such as more tutoring or different study techniques. Okay, so this actually uses all the 6 steps of problem solving here. So please don't be confused when you're asked to solve the problem using 6 steps. That means you are actually applying the GPS, the general problem solving skills, where we have 6 steps as mentioned here. So please don't change these 6 steps. These are fixed. Anyway, you can use different words, but it should be similar to these steps. Okay. All right. Now here, this is about CPS. You're going to draw a mind map about this particular topic or central idea or problem, how to improve your health. So please don't be confused. You are not going to use 6 steps here. Okay, no, you're going to use or draw a mind map, and you need to put this problem, topic, or central idea in the middle, talking about health. Okay, you can put these words or you can just mention health in the middle. Okay, and start with at least 4 main branches. So you can start maybe with stress here. And then you will have some sub branches here. And talk about exercise, for example. And then your sub branches. Maybe you can talk about health and diet. Diet is very important. Maybe you can talk about sleep. So here actually I'm using 5 main branches, but at least 4 actually are needed. So here I mentioned stress, exercise, health, diet, and sleep. And then you expand the branches. Okay, so it will look like this. So we have stress here, exercise, health, diet, and sleep. So these are the sub branches here. These are the main branches: stress, exercise, health, diet, and sleep. And these are sub branches, which are really very, very creative. less text, more on drawings. So in reality, actually, when we draw a mind map, it should be very creative where we have less words, less text, and more on figures or drawing. Here, stress, we talk about causes, solutions, for example. So we talk about relaxation, exercises, and things to avoid, and the effects of the stress. Okay, and examples of relaxation techniques, setting goals, and exercises. Here, causes, it could be about work, exams, relationships, and some other aspects. Exercise, there's so many things to talk about it. One, of course, is biking, warm up, treadmill, okay, and toning your strength, and stretching or flexibility, and many, many more. Hiking can be included as well. In terms of health, you can talk about doctors, you can talk about dietitians, nutritionists, for example, and diet. These are just some of the things that can be talked about: vitamins, fiber, veggies, fruits, and things to avoid. Sleep, okay, talks about regular hours, regular exercise, some tips, no smoking, and some consequences here of lack of sleep. So these are just, some creative ideas about maintaining or improving your health, right? You can have your own ideas. There is no right or wrong in terms of, implementing a CPS and drawing a mind map, as long as the ideas provided are related to the central idea or the topic or the problem being dealt with. Another example is how to gain confidence while speaking. This is actually using, some images, using a Word file, and using some shapes where we can have more creative solutions. The first one here is using a pen and paper or using some, coloring materials there. The best way to start, with this particular topic, mind mapping, is to start with, a pen and a paper. Then you can use some apps, some tools, a Word file maybe, or a mind view. Okay, I'm talking about, using a mind map in real life. You can use a mind view. You can use also Notebook LM. Notebook LM is like an AI tool where you can have directly a mind map by just clicking and clicking and editing the text. Okay, so in terms of self-practice, maybe you can speak loudly when you are alone. You can record videos of yourself and critique them, memorize at least 3 new words every day or more, and develop a reading habit, for example, making notes from your readings, read books and novels, use the internet. Nowadays, we use the internet to read, or maybe newspapers. Or maybe you can attend speaking courses or take courses about grammar. It could be a short course on public speaking. Or maybe you can get advice from your lecturers, family and friends, or public speakers. Okay, so these are just examples of how you're going to gain more confidence while speaking, which is difficult for everyone. Okay, it's not easy to be, automatically talking about something, for example, in front of others, or when you have the spontaneous, speaking engagement, for example. So people usually are hesitant or reluctant to speak in front of others. But with practice, with reading habits, some courses, advice from others, and some other ways maybe that you can have, you can improve your confidence while speaking. Okay, so another example here is about global warming. You can also use this for, you know, solving or fighting or combating. When you combat or fight climate change. After all, global warming is one of the effects of climate changes, yeah, or climate change. So you can use this, or maybe you can have more ideas. You can even draw from the SDGs. We have 17 SDGs where you can talk about, how to protect our environment, especially climate change and global warming. So you can talk about things to do at home, okay, travel, green power, energy audit being a catalyst, planting trees and using less, okay, or eating less. So these are just simple ways for us to improve our condition or to combat or fight climate change or global warming. Okay, so these are, decision traps. It means these are the blocks to decision making. People are not able to decide properly because of these three main factors. The first one is stimulus overflow. It means too many possibilities, too many options or choices. You don't know what to choose, what to do, where to start, and what to start. So actually, it blocks your thalamus, it blocks your brain. So somehow, it paralyzes your brain. We call this as mental block, because of too many options. So what is the solution? You have to simplify, prioritize, and summarize, usually to top 7 chunk of information. This allows your thalamus or your watchdog, this is the part of the brain, to process the information properly. So thalamus or watchdog, significant part of the brain, is responsible for processing the information properly. So this part is not blocked. You need to simplify. You need to prioritize and summarize things. Second one is the stress or permanent stress. It means high performance pressure or emotional stress or stress out because of expectations. What is the solution here? Emotional state management. You have to control your emotions and train your brain by constantly leaving your comfort zone or your comfort zones. Maybe you try something new. Maybe you practice. Maybe you prepare a lot before doing something. Your exam, for example, maybe you prepare few days before the examination so you will not be stressed out. So you need to train your brain to do challenging things. Okay? Leave your comfort zones. Then stress can be avoided. So because of these, we are not able to decide properly. The next one is perfectionism, afraid to make mistakes or refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. According to Stephen Covey, perfection prevents action, expecting 100% result always. So what is the solution? If you have 80% of the information you need, just go for it, implement your decisions, and fix the errors along the way. So you don't need to mention everything. You need somehow to summarize the meanings and then the solution. You can even use your own words, when you discuss these 3 decision traps according to Benedict Halfield. Okay, but you need to mention the solutions. These are very, very important. First, you define what is stimulus overflow, what is permanent stress, and what is perfectionism, and give the solutions. Right? So until here for now, I'm going to continue later with the next video. Until the next time. Bye bye.